Parshas Ki Satzei. This is a shir adapted from the shiurim of Moran Hagoin Rebbe Eliyahu Lapian, Zecher Tzadik Livrocha. To see this shir in its written form, please refer to Yeshiva to our website, yeshivakesatorah.org or TorahAnytime.com. The title of this shir is All people, even Tzadikim and the aged, are susceptible to temptation. It says in the Pasuk, Ki Satzei All Al. As soon as it's mentioned Ki Satzei All, when you go out to war, you know already what kind of a war we're talking about. We're talking about Milchemes Horshus, an optional war, not a war to conquer Eretz Yisrael. Because Shebel Milchemes, as Rashi says, Shebel Milchemes Eretz Yisrael, Ein Loimer V'Shavisa Shivyai. You can't say, and they took captives. Because it says already when there's a war going out to conquer Eretz Yisrael, it says, Leisachaya kol neshama. Nobody remains alive. There are no captives. So as soon as we see here, Ki Satzei All Alevecha V'Shavisa Shivyai, and you take captives, as soon as it says you take captives, you know we're talking about not a Milchemes mitzvah, but a Milchemes rishus. So the Torah continues with Shavisa Shivyai, and you happen to take captives. Rashi brings down Chazal, L'Rabbis Kananim Shebetoicha. They're able to take as a wife. They're able to take Kananim, Goyim, Afal Pi Shehem Mishiva Ha'omos. So we know one thing from this pasuk. We know two things. We know that we're talking about now a Milchemes Rishus, an optional war, and we also know that you can take as your wife even Goyim. The Rabbis Kananim Shebetoicha V'Afal Pi Shehem Mishivas Ha'omos. People going to war, it's an optional war. They can take captives, and they can take even non-Jews for a wife. Eishes Yifas Toya, Rashi says, they see in captivity a beautiful woman. As soon as it says Eishes Yifei Toya, Rashi brings down Afilu Eishes Ish. You're allowed to marry this lady, who's this beautiful lady. You're allowed to marry her, even though she's a shiksa, even though she's from Shivas Ha'omos, and even though she's married. Afilu Eishes Ish. V'lokachta l'chol isha, the Torah says, the Torah permits this person going to war, the Torah permits this shiksa to him, and even though she's married, the Torah permits it. Why? Why does the Torah permit a Jewish soldier to marry a shiksa and a married woman? And Chazal answer, She'im ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu matira, that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not permit him to take this woman, Yisor eno be'isur, Lashon of Rashi, he will marry her illicitly. So the question is, what's going on here? What's going on here? The question is, who were these people going to war? Were they Tom, Dicks, and Harrys? No. They were Tzadikim and Gedolim. They were Tzadikim and Gedolim, and they were still permissible to marry this shiksa. Could you imagine? Tzadikim, permissible to marry this shiksa, and this married shiksa. What's it all about? The Gemara in Saita discusses all the draft exemptions in an optional war, a Milchamas Rishus, which are enumerated in Parshas Shoftim. One of these exemptions is Mi Ho'ish Hayorei V'rach Elevov. Whoever is afraid he does not go to war, let him return to his home. Rabbi Yossi Aglili in the Gemara explains this to mean that the individual is fearful because of sins he has committed. So the person has sins, he's exempt from going to war. And the Gemara explains further that we're talking about here, he's Yorei V'rach Elevov because of sins that he committed. He goes back, he does not fight in a Milchemes Rishus, because he has sins. This means that every soldier that went to fight in a Milchemes Rishus was a tzaddik, was pure, who had no sins at all. Even Averes Darabonan he didn't have. Even he didn't transgress talking out between the Tefillin Shel Yad and the Tefillin Shel Rosh. If these people, every single one of them, was Yorei V'rach Elevov, was afraid of sin, he had no sins at all, he does not go to war. These soldiers didn't even talk out between the Tefillin Shel Yad and Tefillin Shel Rosh. Such a minor Isur. And they didn't even have that minor Isur because they were pure and holy. And we're talking about pure and holy people now. And what does the Torah say? You see in captivity this beautiful woman, this married woman, this Ashes Ish, and this and the shiksa. A shiksa, an ashes ish, a married shiksa, that's who they will be attracted to, and that's who the Torah permits. Because if the Torah would not permit it, they would take it be'isa. Wow. What are we talking about here? Such tzadikim that have no averis, have no sins, and they would take a married shiksa to be their wives, and the Torah permits it. What is happening? What's going on? But from here we see something that perhaps pertains to everybody. No person is free of the Yetzer Hara. You could be a tzaddik, you could be a tzaddik hador, you could have no chatoim, no sins, and still you might falter, and you might take this woman, and the Torah sort of has to permit it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu permits it, because if the Torah would not permit it, he would take her be'isa. Wow, we're talking about gedolim, tzadikim, but nevertheless, he's a human being. A human being, all people, like our title, all people, even tzadikim, are susceptible to temptation. Nobody could rely that he will survive, and he will not allow the Yetzer Hara to overtake him. Everybody must be on constant alert for the Yetzer Hara, because he attacks anybody, even big tzaddikim who have no averis. Continuing, we see this very same concept in a incredible Gemara Yerushalmi, a Gemara Yerushalmi in Masechta Shabbos. Fascinating Gemara, which adds another person besides tzaddikim, which adds them to those that the Yetzer Hara could attack. It says in the Gemara like this: there was an elderly, pious individual who, when he learned Pirkei Avos, it says, Al tamin bi'atzmecha ad yom moischa. Don't believe in yourself that you can survive the Yetzer Hara. Do not believe in yourself until the day you die. A person could be 120 years old, and the Yetzer Hara can attack him to do averis. So this pious individual substituted when he learned Pirkei Avos, instead of learning it as it says, Al tamen bi'atzmecha ad yom moischa, don't believe in yourself till the day you die. He changed it. He substituted in its place, do not trust yourself, al tamen bi'atzmecha, until your days of old age. He substituted it. He felt that being an old man, he felt withdrawn from the temptations of this world. He felt sure that he would not sin, and wished to amend the text of Pirkei Avos, which says, don't believe in yourself till the day you die, and he wanted to change it. He changed it. Al tamen v'yatzmacha, until you reach old age. Old age, that's it. Old age, the Yetzer Hara will not attack you, and that was wrong. This created reverberations in heaven, and permission was granted. This is Yerushalmi, Gemara. Permission was granted for a spirit to descend to earth and appear before him disguised as an extremely beautiful woman. When he observed this strikingly beautiful woman, he said something to her that was unbefitting for him. Immediately, the pious individual that he was genuinely regretted his verbal infraction. He repented and cried out. What did he do? He had such anguish and depression, and even endangered his life. He felt so terrible the way he said something unbefitting to this beautiful woman who was merely a spirit being sent from heaven. The spirit then said to him, Gemara, it's a Gemara. The spirit then said to him, do not be anguished. I am a spirit and not a woman. I have been sent from heaven to test you. Do not consider yourself better than others because you have reached old age. You are equal to everyone else. Leave the text as is. Do not trust yourself until the day you die. All people, even Tzadikim and even aged people, are susceptible to temptation. Even the aged. No one can be sure of himself until the day he dies. May we realize that the Yetzer Hara is always there, lying in ambush, waiting for an opportunity to entice us. He lurks, waiting to penetrate even the purest and holiest Tzadikim. He respects no barriers of age. We must at any given moment be aware of this reality. With the knowledge of these truths and with the help of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, may we be zeicher to fend off this greatest of adversaries, the Yetzer Hara. Amen v'amen.